The mortgage process can often be confusing. There's a lot of work and prep work, moving parts, and mostly the terminology that many of you are unfamiliar with. So Brandon Haefele with Catalyst Mortgage joins us live from his Roseville office to tell us the 5 terms we need to know and understand. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's get right into it. APR, what does that mean and why is it important?
You know, annual percentage rate is very important, especially when you're shopping for a loan, whether it be a purchase or refinance. It's important to know that the APR is the total cost of the loan with lender points, fees, and so on. So a rule of thumb is the higher the APR above your interest rate, the more the costs there are for the loan. The lower the APR in comparison to the rate, then that means the lower the cost for your loan.
The second one we see here is underwriting.
Yes, underwriting is a big one. And, really we try to tell people that the underwriting process is to verify your financial information and look at it like the underwriter is making sure that it's a sellable loan to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or whoever's going to be purchasing that loan. And they're going to verify your income, your assets, your employment history, and so on to make sure that you can qualify for that loan.
I just went through the process of getting a home, and let me tell you, that underwriting process, it was long and tedious, but it is for a reason, try to find you the best match. Exactly. What about escrow?
Escrow really is for, you have title and escrow, but when we talk about escrow, or we call it impounds, that's for your taxes and insurance, where we hold money to be able to pay on a monthly basis, pay your property taxes, your property insurance, or if you have an HOA, that can also sometimes be included, or flood insurance. But it's an account that's held and collected on a monthly basis from your mortgage payment to pay those things for you.
That's important. And what about the closing disclosure?
One of the biggest and most important pieces of the process is your closing disclosure. It's also known as a CD. And what the closing disclosure does is it gives you a breakdown, a final breakdown of the loan terms, everything that was agreed upon before signing. And you get that 3 days before to really review, make sure everything's in line, and nothing really should change from that closing disclosure that you receive to the final loan docs. If there's a change, there is an issue.
Yeah, and there's a discrepancy. You can take care of it beforehand. What about the prepaid costs here?
Prepaid costs are, again, for, prepaying for insurance, or if we're going to be holding interest. Like, let's say, for instance, you're going to fund today or on a 30th of the month. Well, you're not going to make a payment for a month to a month and a half after that. So really, you have to collect 30 days of interest. You might have to collect some homeowners insurance that might be due and so on. But really, the prepaid account is to make sure that you're actually paying those items and that enough money is collected for your new loan.
Yeah, it's important, before getting into the process, how much do you recommend that people go through each one of these terms and really get a good understanding of what each one means before even going through the process?
I think that's really important, Pedro. I think that, for people to understand the process, but also when you're shopping around, ask each lender that you're working with what their interpretation or what they're going to explain it as. So then that way you get different angles of how it's looked at. But do your research online. Look at the process. Look at these types of things, and also look at examples of what they're supposed to look like. So then that way, when you receive that on your loan, you actually really do understand what you're looking at.
All right, Brandon Haefele with Catalyst Mortgage. We appreciate you for joining us and explaining those terms. It was certainly needed. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Peter.
All right, let's take a look at your weather.